Morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. Today, I wanted to talk about some of the BS you can find online about MAGs. Okay, in case you're new at this, a MAG is a mutual assistance group. Basically, the people you can help you and can count on in an SHTF scenario. It's Saturday, so this video may be a little longer than normal, but I figure, hey, it's the weekend, and at least for me, it's pouring rain because I'm getting some of the effects of Hurricane Delta up here, so I'm kind of stuck on the porch in the house, but not working on the land here. So in regards to mags, a lot of YouTubers seem to overcomplicate this and really put out some unrealistic expectations. In my opinion, following a lot of what they say is just foolish. Okay, now I understand everybody's in a different environment, so your group is certainly going to look different than my group based on a number of factors. Okay, personal belief groups are important. There's a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm in a lone wolf it out there." Where, good luck. Okay, some people can do it. My opinion is, unless you're Chuck Norris in your prime, you're not going to make it. Okay. The reason I say a minimum of groups of four, everybody got to sleep. All right. So if you've got to pull security, again, depending on where you are, when you're sleeping, you hope somebody's watching your back so you don't have somebody sneak up, steal all your stuff, or God forbid, harm you. Okay. You probably aren't going to have your whole group living in the same house, but hey, that is a possibility. You've got four people in a family, you're pretty well covered. Okay. But at least you need to be close enough so that the whole group, and obviously in communication at a moment's notice with each other, so the whole group can help each other on a short notice. Okay. Personally, if somebody comes up and starts, let's just put it as the people who wear black right now. I'll kind of keep myself from getting in trouble with YouTube here. All of a sudden start walking up the street with Molotov cocktails or something. I want to be able to get a hold of a couple of people in my group and say, "Hey, give me a hand. I got a problem down here." Okay. But like I said, sure, there's some people that want to be a lone wolf. That's your choice. I'm just telling everybody. Okay. So let's start with the most obvious thing. Okay. A group of people looking, a mag looking in a rural area is going to look totally different than a mag living in an urban area. All right. There's completely different needs of the two. Okay, if you're living in an apartment in New York City, you've got neighbors 20 feet from you, and your mag may entitle a couple other people on your floor in your building, whatever, that you can count on to help in any sort of crisis situation. The downside is, of course, you live in that apartment complex, and your person who lives directly above you, below you, right next door to you, across the hall to you, may not have done anything whatsoever to, prepare themselves for any sort of crazy situation. So now the only thing that's, keeping them from getting to you is feasibly a couple of sheets of drywall. They come right through the wall, and now you got problems. Okay, so I get it. That's totally different than somebody out in, rural Alabama, for example, who's got 150 acres, and their nearest neighbor is a mile and a half away. They've got a total different scenario. They feasibly have nobody to help them out in a pinch. Okay, again, using the same thing. If you've got somebody crashing through your wall, chances are somebody else hears it and what's going on. Okay, somebody crashes through a wall in my rural Alabama example, nobody knows what's going on, and the only way anybody knows something happened is when they haven't seen you for a week, and all of a sudden you have those issues. Okay, so I totally get that there's a difference between everybody's group. Okay, it's all going to be based on your physical proximity to somebody else, your situation. Okay, what I'm trying to do is give somewhat of a brief overview here of some of the idiotic things that I hear put out on YouTube and on the internet as a whole. Okay, so I'm going to cover this in a broad manner, but you're all going to have to figure out what's best for you, because there is no one size fits all idea for this. Okay. A while back, I remember one YouTuber suggesting you go look for groups online through different organizations, say Meetup or PrepperNet or something like that. This had to be the stupidest thing I ever heard. Okay, so yesterday afternoon, I just thought I'd go look up some of this for fun, just to see what was out there when I was preparing for this video. I figure, hey, with the chaos that's been going on for the last 9 years, there's probably some groups that have formed, so maybe I could find something out. Sure enough, there was. Okay, there was a group down in the city that's near me. I'm about 45 minutes north of a moderate-sized city, say 500,000 people. And then there was another group about 90 minutes east of me, I'd say. Okay. So, yeah, there were groups I could join. And, they were actively, oh, hey, we're looking for more people. And I'm thinking to myself, this makes no sense, okay? If, again, from my example earlier, those black-clad groups come marching down the street here, what am I going to do? Call up somebody in a group in the major city here, say, hey, I've got a problem. I've got people storming down the street. Help, help, help. And they go, great, we'll be there as soon as we can. When they get here an hour later or so, basically the only thing they're left to help do is, put out the fire that my house is now ashes, and maybe find my body. That would be about it. So these online groups, for the most part, are silly. Okay, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, the other thing is, let's talk about food, water. Again, mutual assistance here we're talking about. Does anybody honestly think I'm going to travel 2 hours, if I even have the gas to do that, okay, in whatever situation would be, 2 hours to trade a bushel of tomatoes for a couple of dozen eggs? No, okay, there is no mutual assistance that you can get from an online group there. It's, keyboard warriors all over the place. Oh, I'm doing this, and yippee, put it into practical play. That is not practical whatsoever. So skip the online groups. I mean, you can go in there for talk, chat, whatever it is, but to count on them in any sort of IRL, in real life scenario, okay, forget it, not happening. So after that, obviously, you look at that. Common sense is to look very local, okay? And this, of course, I agree with. That makes a lot more sense. So I looked up just to see on YouTube what people were talking about local mags. All right? And there's one guy that actually, get this, actually suggested you go to all your neighbors and ask them specifically, what are you doing to prepare? Do you want to be do you want to be in my mag? Now, that pretty much violates the first rule of prepping, which is keep your mouth shut, okay? You're not going to tell everybody in the world that, hey, I'm storing food, I'm stocking ammunition, I'm doing whatever. Personally, when I come outside to make these videos, I make sure there's nobody around, okay? Because I don't want anybody to hear what I'm talking about, okay? Suddenly, I mean, if somebody came up to me, rang my doorbell or something and say, hey, I'm Joe, I'm starting a prepper group here in the area. What are you doing to prepare? Which is literally what this guy's suggesting, okay? I'd be like, prepare for what? I mean, just play stupid, totally. Because I don't want anybody knowing what I'm doing. Because if I do, let's say this guy's got good intentions, but let's say his great, brilliant brainstorm was to prepare a month's worth of food. And a month goes by, and he doesn't have any. And now all of a sudden he goes, oh, I know that guy up the hill sits there and has food, so I'm gonna go take some of his. So what you could feasibly doing in a scenario like this is somebody who's trying to be a friend could actually turn out to be an enemy. Okay, just remember that. Don't advertise what you're doing. So going out and asking somebody bluntly, hey, I'm trying to put a group together, want to join, is silly. All right, it absolutely dumbfounded me. All right. My thought there, instead of being the aggressor, play passive. Okay, keep your eyes open. Okay, the idea is to gather intelligence, not to give intelligence, if you will. If you see your neighbor as you're driving down the street one day, or see, I mean, again, somebody close, you know, unloading a huge load of groceries, or make a note of it. If you hear gunshots, make a note of it. Okay. If you see a Trump sign or a Biden sign, depending on which way you swing, make a note of it. If somebody gardens or chickens, there you go, raises chickens, make a note of it. I mean, these are people that you may be able to slowly get into a some sort of relationship. Maybe in a couple of days you see the people that were firing weapons or whatever. And you walk up and say, "Hey, I heard you shooting guns the other day. Maybe we get together one time. Compare notes, see what you got, see what I got, and go shooting together." Or somebody's gardening or whatever. Hey, did you growing anything exotic? Maybe you could give me a couple of tips. I killed my whole garden this year. Whatever would be. So very passive. Just kind of introducing yourself to somebody and listening more than you're talking. Because if they start volunteering the information to you, now you start getting an idea of what this person's doing. If they're like, "Oh yeah, I just grow tomatoes and that's about it," great. If the person comes up and says, "Oh yeah, I got tomatoes and peppers and beans and peas and I take them to the farmer's market every Saturday or whatever." Okay, now this is somebody that obviously is thinking a little ahead. All right, he's doing something substantial. Right. Don't try to force this. It's just something to passively do is the best way I can put it. Okay. The last insane thing I heard was something I watched yesterday. This YouTuber said you need to go out and find specific people to join your MAG. Okay. And he suggested a nutrition and water manager, a medic, a negotiator, a mechanic, and a strategic planner. Okay. Now, if you're actually building a community where everybody was going to be moving to this uh, area, maybe that makes sense. Okay, I mean, use Pastor Joe Fox out at Viking Preparedness. Okay, in Shofar Mountain, he's got literally the side of a mountain, and he's building a community. People have to apply to come in to build any sort of uh, cabin or whatever they want, and it's a community they're physically building. All right, now I can see the logic to finding those specific people if that's what you're doing. But for most of us, that's not in the cards. Okay, most of us don't have a plot of thousands of acres or whatever where we're going to be able to select who can move in or do whatever. So even if you did, I mean, let's say it was 50 miles from your house. It was going to be a bug out scenario where that's where you were going. You and all those people would have to meet regularly to develop that community and see how you are all going to work together. Because you can't just all show up there one day and say, "Hi, we're all here. Now what do we do?" Because you have no sort of organization. So while it's feasible, okay, it's not realistic for 99% of the people. Okay. Most of us are going to shelter in place, protect our homes, and only bug out if absolutely necessary. Personally, for me, I'm not going anywhere unless my house burns down. Okay, that's then I'll leave because I have no shelter. All right. Other than that, I'm going to stay here and protect this place to the last breath. Now, I live out in the country. Pretty obvious if you've seen some of my videos. I've got a few acres out here. I'm 8 miles from a main road. I don't have, but a couple of neighbors within a half a mile of me. All right. We don't have a medic or a doctor or a nurse or something like that in our group. Okay, we don't have a nutritionist. We make the best of what we can do. Okay, I mean there are 4 couples that we kind of all work together a little bit, or at least some more than others. We know what's going on with everybody. Everybody's storing food. Everybody's doing whatever. We all have some different skills, but let's look at our real life jobs. Okay, we have a dental office manager, a construction manager, a railroad manager, three retirees, my wife and myself. Okay, so yeah, we had somebody who volunteered to take some first aid classes. Okay, that's somewhere to help there. Okay, I mean, obviously, all of us know firearms. I mean, a couple of us know how to hunt and fish. Everybody knows how to cook in some way, some way, shape, or form. And the railroad manager guy knows how to do a little bit of automotive work. I mean, nothing like replacing a transmission or whatever. I mean, good luck if you're going to do that anyway. But more of the simple stuff. Okay, you have to adapt to the personnel you have. Okay, you're not starting a company and posting a help wanted ad saying, I want a medic, and I want a medic, or I want a medic, I want a nutritionist, and I want a mechanic to move into my neighborhood. Okay. Whoever wants to move into the local area can. It just depends on what their skills are, and again, what their beliefs are. I'm lucky being where I live. People somewhat naturally prep because that's the lifestyle here. I mean, it's a half an hour to the nearest Walmart. Okay, so there is no, honey, run to the store, get me a gallon of milk real quick, and I'm making dinner. Okay, it's like, oh, if I'm going to town, I better make sure I've got a list of everything I'm going to need because it's going to cost me $10 in gas to get back and forth. I'm not spending $10 in gas to buy a $3 gallon of milk. So kind of naturally, people buy more and stock stuff up. Okay. As for all of us, I mean, we know who the liberals are in our area. Okay, there's a couple of them that are real pieces of work too. We know who the social justice warriors are. We know who the lazy people are. We know who the tweakers are. And all within about 5 miles. Because our bet is, if anything goes crazy, our worry isn't going to be our black clad friends there who have this tendency to shoot their own members, but it's going to be some of our local townspeople here who didn't do anything or are, you know, just going to go out and figure, hey, I can go out and steal stuff and maybe then I can buy my drugs or do whatever. And of course, you're going to have uh, you know, the the group of people that are small group of people that are going to run around and bitch up a storm because Trump's going to win the election. So that's beside it. Okay, you know, everybody knows up here that all of us up here on this side of the mountain are conservatives or gun owners. But I mean, that's not really uncommon here. Okay, it is Tennessee after all. I mean, politicians don't uh, campaign here because I mean they know there's zero chance of a Democrat ever getting elected around here. They kind of learned after Al Gore won that we'll never go back. So that's why we moved here in the first place, to get away from all the whack jobs out there. So what I'm saying ultimately is try to find some like-minded people. Okay. Best case scenario is you have enough people in your family to get everything done, but that's not a luxury everybody has. Okay. What you're basically trying to do is recruit Gilligan's Island. All right. Everybody works together. Everybody has a little bit different skill set, but they're all working toward a common goal, even though they come from different backgrounds. The most important thing to remember about this part of prepping is to have a little bit of fun with it, okay? On videos, on the comments that I've watched, even on some on the videos I've posted in the last couple of days, people have mentioned I'm stressing out about doing this. This is it makes them anxious. Right? This is a chance. This is one place where you can have a little bit of fun. Right? You might get to meet some new people. You maybe get to learn a new skill. You get to help your fellow man, and hopefully make some new friends. And that's what's happened for me. Okay, I've met some people that I probably wouldn't have normally met. We met over a like of going shooting and turned into friends, which turned into kind of figuring out, hey, they're doing some prepping and I'm doing some prepping. And then we turned out that both his wife and my wife were, avid canners. And so they started sharing recipes. And so it turned out to be a good thing. Okay. Enjoy it. All right. This is, like I said, this is one part where you can actually reduce the stress level, reduce the anxiety, and have a little bit of fun. Because as much as you want, everybody's, again, fear mongering out there, which I'm trying to avoid at all costs, and that's not what I'm about. Okay. I try to tell everybody, live your normal life. Okay. You got to live the life. Now, don't live your entire life for an SHTF moment, Teowaki, whatever. Okay. It may never happen. Okay, so you've got to live your normal life. So, go out, make some friends, find some common interests amongst all of this, and, you know, just enjoy yourself. Okay. I know that doesn't cover everything, but like I said before, everybody's situation is different. Okay. I tried to cover as many as I could, or if I tried to cover as many as I could, we'd have a mini series here. I mean, I'm looking, we're already at 20 minutes on this video. It's Saturday, it's raining, so I had the time. Hopefully, you have the time to watch this. But just kind of wanted to put that out to everybody. So, other than that, enjoy your weekend and pinball out. See ya.